What is up, folks? What is going on? Let's see here. Do I have some mic volume? It looks like I do. So yeah, guys, it is 11:15 on October 21st. And this is, of course, what we're calling the Shit Show 97. We just finished episode 100 of VR Roundtable. That was pretty cool. And I'm enjoying a little bit of some breakfast right now. Here's a piece of bacon. And I also got myself a second cup of coffee. Normally don't do this, but yeah. Yes, it is absolutely shit show time. And I can tell you guys right now that Magic Leap. No, this is not a Magic Leap show. That's actually HoloLens there. That Street Fighter video is HoloLens. All right, so here we go. Let's see. So microphone is okay here. But what I wanted to say is apologies. Look at my chat window over here. I did not fix this. And also, you guys may have noticed after yesterday's episode, there were no timestamps except for just a start timestamp. No other timestamps. I also did not make a 20-minute version yesterday. That was because right after finishing yesterday's show, I had to do some family events. I had some family things that I had planned, and I was gone basically for like 7 hours and then got back home. So I didn't worry about the timestamps or anything like that. Didn't worry about making a 20-minute version or anything like that. And also didn't worry about fixing my chat window here and looking at that and maybe fixing the chat window. So that's something I'm going to have to look at a little bit later today. What I was going to say, though, is the one thing that I did get to do very late last night, it was pretty late, is I went in and overclocked the i5 2500K. So I have overclocked my i5 2500K. I'm going to go ahead and switch up off of this trailer here. It's just, you know, what I like to do is throw some random trailers on the screen. And I'm just trying to switch up and do some different trailers that maybe I haven't done in a while to try to switch things up a little bit. So this is Carly and the Reaper Man, I believe is this trailer. I'll throw just a little bit of sound there on there. And so what I did was overclock the i5 2500K. I decided to set it to 4.3 on the gigahertz scale. And then also like the voltage is I think like 1.280. So that's what I did. I set it to 1.280 and I set it to 43, which is, 4.3. And what I haven't done is I haven't tested anything. Like usually when you overclock your CPU, you're supposed to run all these special tests to make sure that, you're not going to kill your CPU and all these types of things. I haven't done any of it, none of it. But what I did do is I fired up my Oculus and I went into Windlands 2. And I played some Windlands 2 last night after overclocking, and everything seems to work pretty well. So I feel pretty good about the overclock. And so far my system hasn't crashed or anything, but I know probably a little bit later today, I need to download some programs and double check my overclock and make sure I didn't screw anything up too bad. But so far it seems like it's working okay. So it could be a situation, folks, where I might have most of my PC issues behind me. So that would be wonderful. If I really do have most of my PC issues behind me, that would be awesome. So I'm hoping for that. So anyway, as far as today's show is concerned, do I have anything set up specifically for today? Do I have a lot of plans? No, I don't. I have absolutely nothing. In fact, prior to the 100th episode of VR Roundtable that we did earlier today, I woke up like maybe 25 minutes prior to that episode. No, probably like 45 minutes prior to the episode. And I jumped into the, took a quick shower, got ready, banged out that episode, and so here I am doing this episode. So unfortunately, another shit show. Yeah, Conrad Lawrence says plans, of course not. No, eventually, honestly, straight up, eventually I plan on having like actual plans and stuff. I don't like doing a show like this. This makes me nervous not having anything to go to because I'm always worried that it's just going to get way too boring and people aren't going to like it. So anyway, let's go ahead and see what folks are talking about over here in chat. Andrew Rogers says, "Hey Anthony, I should have listened to you earlier about Zing. That game is amazing and deserves more love. I played it and it is amazing. I am only on chapter 1. Yeah, I love Zing the Land Beyond. It's one of my favorite games that has released, I think it came out this year, right? Earlier this year in 2018, or was that 2017? I can't even remember now. But I'm a big fan of Zing the Land Beyond. Just a magical kind of a world that you're in. The music is so uplifting, especially in that first level. I just feel like the music makes you feel better. Really love that. So definitely a huge fan of Zing the Land Beyond. Now it's supposed to come to PlayStation VR. We've heard about this a couple of times. Have not seen a date for it. Haven't heard anything about it. So not sure if it's still coming to PlayStation VR. I really hope those devs are able to sell enough copies of Zing because it's a high quality game. I want to see that studio make another game. And that's one of the worries that we deal with in the VR market. I need to sip a little bit of this coffee. And Lone Tech is saying, no spoilers, please. I just got Zing. In fact, I think Lone Tech got Zing like a half an hour ago. I think he got one of the codes we were giving away on VR Roundtable's 100th episode. We were giving away a lot of codes. So if you guys weren't over there, you kind of missed out a little bit. Charles Van Nolan says, I knew it was the overclock when you told me you went from 4 gigahertz to 3.3 gigahertz on a quad core. That is a huge deficit being introduced. So yeah, I think that pretty much is it. I think it really is all about the overclock. And I Am Rhett says, start using the Oculus tool tray and super sampling, Anthony. That's where you will see the magic happening. And yeah, I will get into that. Absolutely will get into that. Because I just wanted to kind of get the PC up and running and working properly before I started worrying about that, but absolutely will be getting into that. And no spoilers, Lone Tech. I'll probably stop talking about Zing right about now. Steve XM says, is it Zing or Crossing? I just assume it's Zing the Land Beyond. I've been calling it the Zing the Land Beyond ever since the very beginning. All right, so why don't we go ahead and let's go ahead and bounce around the internet a little bit and see if there's any kind of news or anything going on. Although I just took a quick look right before starting this and I didn't see any news stories. For example, let me get it on Upload VR. So for example, if I go over here to Upload VR, they basically have the same stories that they had yesterday. Intel opens up Tech Learning Lab. We heard about that yesterday. We heard about HTC revealing the 6 degrees of freedom controllers. We were talking about this actually on the VR Roundtable episode earlier today. And you know what I didn't know? That is our guy. That is Alvin Wang Graylin, the next James Bond. And he's playing Beat Saber. Or is he? Is he really playing Beat Saber? Because there is a bunch of confusion here. That's Alvin Graylin demoing the new 6 Degrees of Freedom controller dev kit for HTC Vive standalone. Now, the one exciting thing about this entire deal is, do you see that right there, ladies and gentlemen? Do you see these things that he's holding in his hands? These are controllers that have been manufactured by a company called HTC. And the thing that is interesting here is we've had the same freaking wands for all these years. They have never updated their controllers, but now they have new controllers for, well, at least development version controllers for their HTC Vive Focus. So this does give me hope. This gives me legitimate hope that HTC will finally have some new controllers coming down the line, because they definitely need some new controllers coming down the line. This proves that they are able to make new controllers, so eventually we will find them. Of course, most people believe that they're waiting on Knuckles, and they could very well be waiting on Knuckles. That's absolutely a possibility. I got to take another sip of this coffee here. I thought it was Xing. It could be Xing, Crossing, Zing. I just say Zing. It makes it really easy, right? Zing the Land Beyond. And Paradise Decay says, Anthony's show is never planned or unplanned. It is what it is when it wants. That is Gandalf, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, no, sometimes I will have an actual plan. Sometimes I will have different news stories. Like what I normally would do is I would look around on all the various subreddits and look for like trailers, new games that have updates, and usually go to some different trailers. That's what I like to do, is like, oh, this game was announced, blah, blah, blah. Let's run that trailer. That's normally what I like to do, but haven't been able to do it recently. I will eventually get back to normalcy, and everything will be good in not too distant future here. So that'll be nice. Let's see. So I thought we could go bounce over to Road to VR. I don't think there's anything new over here either. We go over to Road to VR. They're still talking about the Viveport Halloween sale. HTC has the hand and finger tracking that's coming to Vive Pro. Here's another picture of the 6 Degree Freedom controllers. It's showing a different person playing it, and there's the controllers there. They look very similar to Oculus Quest controllers. And then PlayStation still has this Halloween sale. There's some big discounts on horror games. And 10 Hearts. Yeah, we did see the trailer for 10 Hearts the other day. Didn't run very well. It actually ran very crappily. I can actually try throwing that trailer on right now and see if it'll run crappy again, or will it run better. Let me see, where do I have the 10 Hearts trailer though? Because I did refresh. Man, I don't have that. I didn't copy that folder over yet, so never mind. Won't be doing that. There's a number of, I haven't added my regular hard drive back to this computer yet. It is still simply working on the little 500 gig SSD. So I don't have any of the other hard drives connected to it. And so I'm still missing some of my other stuff. I'll have to do that probably later today. Let's see, I'm looking here for another video that I could throw on, another trailer that I could throw on real quick. How about Myubi? Hopefully this is 1080p. Myubi, one of my favorite, this is easily one of my favorite non-game VR experiences. Has everybody tried Myubi? It's kind of disappointing that we don't have another Myubi. Like, where is another Myubi? The volume might be a little loud here. No, it's weird. I'm not... Oh, I have my volume way turned down. I always do this. Whenever I do a VR Roundtable episode, I turn my volume way the hell down because I don't want everybody else's voices in my headphones bleeding into my live mic. So I turn my volume way down, and then when I do this show, I forget to turn my volume way up, and then sometimes when I'm playing trailers or something, the volume is crazy loud because I forgot. I always have to remind myself of that. Steve XM says he's never heard of Myubi. Oh my God, how could you have not heard of Myubi? I believe this is an Oculus exclusive though. I don't know if you can do it on the Go, but I know you can do it on the Oculus Rift, and it is a really, really good example. Like, I think this is the best example we have so far on how to do live action video and in a headset and make a story out of live action video, like 360 videos, 180 videos, or whatever. I honestly think this is the best example we have so far. And Fluke says pretty much the same thing I'm talking about here. Myubi was the best 360 video at time of release. Don't know how well it holds up today. Well, my question for you, Fluke, is what's better than this? Has somebody surpassed this? Because I don't know that anybody has really surpassed this. In terms of making a cohesive story that really is taking advantage of VR and like bringing you into that world where you feel like you're this little robot guy. These people are talking to you, they're interacting with you. You have the grandpa, you have the little kid. all the different people that are involved in this. And I Am Ruts is downloading it right now. So yeah, it's a great thing that I've decided to pop this on here and bring this up, because I think it is a really good treat. It lasts, I don't know, maybe 35 minutes or so for this whole thing, to play through this whole thing. And I think it's a really well done job. Absolutely well done. And Jeff Goldblum, the only time you see him see him right there. You have to like, it's like an Easter egg to get to him. I've never actually seen him. And then Hussein X says the pole dancing vids in Amaze surpassed it. Nah, just kidding. Okay, yeah, no, those Amaze 3Ds are pretty good, but I'm talking about like a cohesive story that has been put into VR, and that's where I think Myubi is still one of the best. And Paradise Decay says, in Myubi, you are an 80s toy robot. And that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, it is pretty awesome. It's about 20 minutes. So, yeah, it's a little bit shorter than I was thinking there. But let's see here. We can go ahead and pop over to the Vive subreddit, because the big news, really the big news that is going on in the VR world today, is the prices. The Pimax pre-order information has hit, or maybe it's kind of been leaked a little bit, but it is out there. And a lot of people are talking about this. Pimax 8K, 5K, and 5KS pre-order prices have been spotted. I guess their store has been updated. Let me go ahead and click onto this and see if this will load up, and if the information's presented in a pretty decent way here. It's taken a while. I'll take a sip. That's taken too long, so I'm going to back out of here. But anyway, in terms of the prices, 5K plus, $799. The Pimax 8K is $100 more. And then the 5KS, which is something brand new. We really don't know what the hell is going on with this 5KS. We know it is OLED, and we know it's $100 more. But as far as I know, has anybody tested the 5KS? Does Sweeviver or Sebastian or anybody else out there have a 5KS and they have a video talking about it? Because we don't know. This is like a new thing. They switched to the OLED screens, and it is running at a refresh of 85 hertz. It's $100 more, but we don't know too much else about that. So, and people are chiming in here into this thread. Those prices are rough, but not exactly unexpected. User reviews are definitely going to make or break this headset for me, along with trying the thing myself. That is the Big Man 43. So a bunch of people are weighing in here. Dr. Mibbles says, nice, they will ship an OLED option. I do like my blacks. However, until they ship a version with a rigid head strap, I'm going to pass. I got enough headaches from OG Vive and its elasticated band of pain. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about the head strap there. But basically, I mean, we could go back here and go back to chat and say, so what do you guys think about Pimax now that these prices are out? Are any of you guys going to rush out there and try to pick this up, try to grab this? Cam is getting a bit glitchy. Yeah, so Anthony freezing for anyone else in little picture. So maybe having a little bit of streaming problem here. Let's see, what is my YouTube health? Oh yeah, video output low. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I don't know what's going on. I can say that everyone is home today, so my kids are probably playing Fortnite in the other room. Lots of stuff are going on here in terms of people running things on the internet. I don't know if that's affecting anything. I hope it's not my PC situation, because I thought I was finally turning a corner here as far as my PC situation. So we'll have to see. Sweeviver, Lone Tech is checking in. He's saying Sweeviver confirmed the 5KS exists, said the 3 testers got a moment with it. Okay. Stream is smooth, but little thumbnail vid is choppy like Kung Fu. Okay. Yeah, not sure. Okay, but anyways, yeah, Charles Van Nolan says, I'm currently only interested in the Oculus Quest. My Rift will keep me happy in the meantime. That's kind of my thought process right now as well, is that if I was going to start putting money towards a new headset, I think the money is kind of going towards Oculus Quest right now, even though in a way the Oculus Quest is a step down from pure technological standpoint, but I'm just really interested in the standalone nature of it, the no wires nature of it, the real 6 degrees of freedom on, both of your hands and the headset, the all-in-one design. I'm just excited about this era of standalone. I kind of think that's where we really, really need to go. And then the other problem I have is just personally, for me to get excited about any of these Pimaxes, I don't currently have a Vive right now. I don't have Lighthouses right now. I don't have Vive Wands right now. So if I were to go and get myself a Pimax 5K Plus, I would need to buy a pair of Lighthouses. I would need to buy a pair of Wands. And I would also probably need to upgrade my video card, which it's a 1080 Ti. But if you see a lot of these videos with Sebastian and Martin and everybody else that are doing these videos, it seems like you really need like a 2080 Ti if you're going to start going down that road. Jim Hall says Pimax is priced a little too high in my opinion. Andrew Rogers says, not jumping on the Pimax thing. We'll wait a while to upgrade on Oculus Rift right now. Yeah, so that's kind of the take from a lot of people, and I kind of agree, because you really got to have quite a bit of money to burn if you want to go down this route. Now, if you've already got yourself a Vive and you're just adding the headset on, if you've already bought a 2080 Ti, and so this is just another $800 if you want to get the 5K Plus, I can understand it. And I'm not really going to complain about the price either, because I understand that Pimax, they need to juice the early adopters when they can. They're only going to have one opportunity to really juice the early adopter crowd that has to have this thing right away. And it's in the very beginning. And once that initial wave of early adopters is satiated, then their sales are really going to fall off a cliff, and then they're going to have to make a price adjustment. So I think a lot of us are probably going to wait for that point to happen. Conrad Lawrence says, Anthony, have I played War Dust yet? Let me go ahead and switch up this trailer for something else. Let me switch this up real quick, and then I'll talk about War Dust for a second here. Let's see, what trailer should I throw on? How about GT Sport Mercedes F1? That's, man, wrong size, but I'll expand it real quick here. Okay, so yeah, so as you guys know, so I'll talk about War Dust for a second here. So as you guys know, I recently added an SSD, a fresh install of Windows, which is really nice to have everything brand new and fresh. I've got the newest version of 4K video downloader. I have the newest version of GIMP, which is this little Photoshop type program that I use. I have, I've downloaded the newest version of Steam, the newest version of Oculus. Oh, dudes, check this out. One of the biggest bonuses that I've received since redoing my PC and reloading Windows is when I load up Oculus, I don't get that message on the top of my Oculus software, that little blue band that says, would you like to install your Oculus Rift or need help setting up your Oculus Rift, or whatever that message is up there. You know that message that like is always there and you always have to hit X because you're like, why is it showing me this message? My Oculus Rift has already been installed. My sensors have already been installed. Everything's installed. Why is it telling me, do I need help installing it? That doesn't sound right. It sounds like something is messed up. So the beautiful thing is by downloading a brand new version of the Oculus software and having no previous software on there, a fresh install, that message has gone away. So I have not seen that message so far. Knock on wood. Hopefully that message will not come back, because that always did irritate me. But I did last night. I downloaded Steam. Didn't have Steam on this right away, so I downloaded Steam. I don't have any of my games on here, but I did download War Dust. I downloaded War Dust, and I tried to go into War Dust last night. This was after overclocking my i5 2500K. I had to wait for the overclock. I didn't even want to bother with it until after that was done. I tried going into War Dust, and what happened is it popped a screen onto my monitor, but it never came on in my Oculus Rift headset. I'm not sure why that happened. And I was thinking, like, Steam VR never popped up either. And I was thinking maybe it was some kind of problem with Steam. This is Gran Turismo Sport, which is on the screen right now. This is Gran Turismo Sport, by the way. Somebody, Paradise Decay says, what is the game playing? That is Gran Turismo Sport, I believe, which is cool when you're in a convertible open air kind of vehicle. I think that is always better when you're racing in VR, to have a convertible where you can just turn around and look at the roadside objects and you're not inside a car and you have the freedom to look around. I think it always looks a little bit better and more impressive like that. But basically, what I was saying here is I loaded up War Dust. It didn't pop into the headset. I thought something was maybe wrong. And so I downloaded another game that was in my library, Blind. Do you guys remember Blind? In fact, let me see if I can find the trailer for Blind, because I got back into Blind for a few minutes last night. I don't, it's a game. Let's see. Blind. Okay, I do have Blind. So I'll go ahead and throw on the Blind trailer. And I will have to resize this because this is properly at 1080p. It's the one thing I should have did was double checked all my videos. Okay, so I went in, I downloaded Blind, and that popped into my headset. It worked perfectly fine. So I'm not sure what the deal is with War Dust. I will definitely be trying it again today, but I did not actually get into War Dust. So unfortunately, I don't have any thoughts on War Dust, but I'll definitely be trying it several different times today and see how that works out. Now, I did play Blind a little bit. Let's see here. Let's get a little bit of volume. I don't know how loud this might be. I don't want to be too loud. But I did play a little bit of Blind last night, and I was stuck. The last time I had played Blind, I was stuck in this one section, and it's funny. Have you guys noticed that if you haven't played a game in a long time and you've been stuck in a certain spot and you like completely forget about that game, and you're playing all these other games, and then you go back like a month later and you go back into the game, that you oftentimes will get beyond wherever you were stuck. Like, why is that? I don't know why it is, but it worked for me because I got into Blind last night. I was stuck in a certain area. I was at this point in Blind where you have all these little tape recorders that your dad had recorded his voice on, like some things that he was talking about, and you have like these 4 different tape recorders, and I was trying to figure out what the hell do I do with these tape recorders, and I don't want to spoil what the puzzle is, but I solved that puzzle. I got further in Blind, and I'm kind of enjoying Blind, although I'll tell you the one thing that really bothers me with it is, and this didn't bother me before, but somehow it bothered the hell out of me yesterday, is constantly having to take your little stick and smack it on the ground so that you have light. Doing it over and over and over again, hitting your stick against something so you have light and you can see what the hell is going on. And so I was playing it last night, having some decent fun with it, but I feel bad for Blind. I feel bad for Tiny Bull Studios because, like, if I look it up here on Steam, there aren't very many reviews. Let me look it up real quick. Blind Steam. Yeah, the price is kind of prohibitive as well. Let's take a look at this price here. So I'm going to go to the little web browser right here. So here's Blind. 4 user reviews. This thing has been available since September 18th. It only has 4 user reviews. That is very disappointing. The price is $25. It's not cheap. $25 is not cheap. You navigate using echolocation by hitting something against something so you create sound, or if you play like some little audio recording, it plays a little bit of sound. And there's a lot of different puzzles and stuff that you're going through. But this is a real problem, ladies and gentlemen. I think in the VR industry, we've got an absolute problem here from the standpoint that If all these developers are making these games, like Tiny Bull Studios, these developers are making these games, and if they're not selling hardly any copies, we're going to have a lot of developers that are going to go out of business, and our VR games are going to start to really dry up. So this is a dangerous thing. It's a disturbing thing. I don't know what we're going to do here, guys, because, like, for example, on the VR Roundtable episode, one of the things they were talking about was Zero Killed, and Gary and Steve and everybody, they were going into Zero Killed. And let me check out the Zero Killed Steam page here. Oh man, it's negative on the reviews. So if we go to web browser, here we go. Zero Killed, negative 13 reviews. This came out on October 5th. So it came out after Blind, and it's got like 4 times as many reviews already, which just shows you how bad it is for Blind. Zero Killed is only $15. It's not that expensive, but negative on the reviews. And I'm guessing most of that negativity is surrounding the fact that when you go in there, there's nobody to be found. You can't get into a game. And so it's hard. You can't enjoy a game if nobody's in there. Kev Gretz says VR developers need to price their game accordingly. It's becoming a crowded market. It's just a harsh. Oh, Paradise Decay says he sees 15 reviews for Blind. I wonder why I'm showing only 4. Blind $24. Yeah, it just says 4 user reviews is what it's showing for me. I don't know. Who knows what that is? But Gerard O'Hara says, I think Quest will help devs once millions of people are in VR. Yeah, did you guys see that report? I think it was Super Data. There was a report that they believe, scroll down, Anthony. Okay, I will scroll down. 11 curators have reviewed this product. Okay, you can click here to see them. All right. But just overall reviews, it has 4 user reviews, but then it has 11 curators. Yeah. Oh, it's showing some more reviews here. Product reviewed for free. Product reviewed for free. Almost all of them are product reviewed for free. Like Ben Plays VR, product reviewed for free. Yeah, I got mine for free as well. And so that does kind of skew it a little bit. I still think it's halfway decent. I think Blind is a bit I think Blind is a bit undervalued. I think it's a relatively decent game. I think it's so much better than Stifled in my opinion. But there's just a lot of puzzle games, so it's almost like there's too much going on. But going back to the previous point that I had, did you guys see that Super Data report that is estimating they're going to sell 1 million Oculus Quests within its first 12 months of availability? That is pretty freaking aggressive right there. I don't think there's any chance of that happening. Does anybody really think they're going to sell 1 million Oculus Quest units? I guess it's possible. It could be possible. I mean, the possibility is there from the standpoint that I was arguing this on the VR Roundtable episode, that if you go to Best Buy, if you go to Target, if you go to Walmart, they could have a box with the Oculus Quest. It's $399. It comes in one box. It has the 2 controllers. It has the headset, the charging cable. It has everything that you need to get up and running. You don't have to buy a PlayStation 4. You don't have to have a gaming PC. You don't have to connect a phone to it or anything like that. So it's this all-in-one device. Now, Lethal Weasel VR says, I believe it's quite possible. I don't think that they will be all new VR adopters. Well, the only way that I see the Oculus Quest selling 1 million in its first 12 months is if it generates enough momentum from the spring and summer that as we move into the fall, that it becomes this hyped product and it's like the hot product for Christmas. Okay, if it becomes the hot Christmas product, then I could see the Oculus Quest really blowing up and hitting 1 million in sales. But the early adopters that are going to support it in spring we're limited numbers. We're very limited numbers. There's going to be a lot of Oculus Rift supporters that jump on it. Some VR early adopters are going to scoop it up, but they're going to run out of that really quick. Like there might be like 80,000 of us. So they might get 80,000 sales in the first few months pretty quickly, but to hit 1 million, it's really going to have to catch fire, and Oculus is going to have to advertise the living crap out of it. I mean, you're going to have to see Oculus Quest advertisements on TV, like expensive advertisements that are played during like primetime TV shows like Dancing with the Stars and The Voice and all of, like, you're going to have to see Oculus Quest commercials during that type of thing, and it's going to have to develop that momentum, and it's within the realm of possibility. It is absolutely within the realm of possibility. We've seen it happen with other products. We've seen, like, do you guys remember that one year the Kinect came out? Do you guys remember when Microsoft, the Xbox Kinect came out, and they sold like 15 million Kinects or something? It was ridiculous. It just became a wild success, and then everybody freaking forgot about it. Nobody cares about Kinect anymore, but they sold so many of them. It became that hot Christmas item that year at Best Buy, Target, Walmart, everywhere. You could not find a Kinect anywhere. It was that hot item, and it really blew up. And that's kind of what would have to happen for Quest to hit 1 million. I hope so. I just think it's kind of unlikely, but you know, I did see that for Super Data. That was quite interesting to be sure. Okay, let's see here. What I wanted to do real quick is let's go ahead and go back. Let's go back to the Vive subreddit, because there might be some other interesting things we can get into real quick that are showing up on here. One sec real quick. Okay, so let's see. So one of the topics on here is, thanks to motion smoothing, Subnautica is now my favorite VR game. So has anybody else been in a situation with this motion smoothing? Has anybody jumped on the motion smoothing and they've seen just a dramatic improvement in one of the games that they're really interested in? And Subnautica is a game for me that actually worked relatively decent for me. I was kind of amazed how well Subnautica was working for me when I was trying it with my 970. I need to get back in there and try it now that I have the 1080 Ti, now that I'm overclocking again and things seem to be working decently now. I need to get back into Subnautica, but yeah, I could see how that would be a huge game to get into if that motion smoothing really helps things out. And then here's an interesting story. I caught wind of this briefly, but I haven't looked at this. Seeking Dawn is going to have a free-to-play version that is coming. Oh man, it's making me do a little birthday thing. Doesn't everybody do this? You just change the year and then it gets you in here. Seeking Dawn free-to-play version by Multiverse Entertainment. This is coming on October 26th, so it's just a few days away. They've created a free-to-play version of Seeking Dawn. This is probably a very good idea for Multiverse to do this, because Seeking Dawn came out at a time where a number of people got interested in it, but it kind of got swept under the rug because the Marvel Powers United VR came out. A bunch of games hit in August. There was a big deluge of games in August, and a lot of people kind of have slept on Seeking Dawn. I was having a lot of fun in Seeking Dawn when I played it. The last time I played it, I didn't get very far into it, but this is certainly a good idea for them to have a free mode. I don't know exactly what happens here in this free mode, but it's a good idea for them to have it. Welcome to Seeking Dawn free-to-play edition, a multiplayer survival VR adventure that takes you far beyond the solar system. Yeah, it doesn't say too much about how it works as far as the free-to-play is concerned, but not a bad idea. We were just talking about how difficult it is in the VR gaming world. You release a game, and if your game doesn't catch the right kind of buzz right away, you're kind of boned. You're kind of screwed. That's the way a lot of these developers are in a situation right now, where they have to really hope against hope that somehow their game catches some kind of buzz and catches some kind of hype that kind of goes along with it. and people get into it. People are talking about it. You hear about it everywhere, and then it kind of is a self-fulfilling prophecy. More people buy it, more people get into it, and it just helps it over and over again. The exact opposite of that is something like Zero Killed. Zero Killed comes out, nobody freaking hears anything about it hardly, and it freaking gets swept under the rug. So we're really in an interesting situation with both of these things going on. Okay, let's see. I wanted to go back to the Vive subreddit, see if there's any other interesting things we could get into on the Sunday shit show. So let's go back over here. So back to the Vive subreddit. We have my wireless adapter heat picks. I wonder if this is MameFan. Our boy MameFan. Oh, okay. So he did some testing on Pixar in Fahrenheit. So here's MameFan. Oh, check this out. 140 degrees right at the tip. He's like measuring the different heat levels. That's cool. MameFan helping all of us out in the VR industry, letting us know how hot exactly is your scalp. And you know what, MameFan, speaking of MameFan, he is going to be on this show very soon. We are going to try having some guests very soon. I don't think MameFan is in chat because I think he said he was going to be busy this weekend doing some things. But one of the things is once I get get my computer back dialed in and everything, then I'm going to start working back on getting guests on. And so we could have MameFan on and he can talk to us a little bit about the Vive wireless adapter, the heat from it, and all of that. So we'll definitely be talking to MameFan in the very near future. Let's see. So what else could we talk about over here on the Vive subreddit? Let's see. There's a patch available for the Vive wireless adapter. And Ryzen 2700X system with wireless installation successful. Yeah, have you guys heard about this? Where if you have a Ryzen CPU, a lot of people were saying they could not use their wireless adapter if they had a Ryzen CPU. And of course, I had Terry Blanchard, I believe, in chat the other day recommending that I get a 2700X if I have to go down the whole route of getting a new motherboard, a new CPU, and doing the whole thing. He was recommending a 27X. Now I switched over here to the Oculus Rift subreddit. Joe Rogan and John Carmack talking about doing a podcast. That's interesting. I like Rogan's podcasts a lot of times. I wonder if John Carmack will hit a blunt with Joe Rogan. I kind of doubt it. I don't think John will be hitting the blunt, but that would be kind of funny. I just wonder, though, like John Carmack, as interesting as he is to a lot of us, I'm not sure how that will play amongst Joe Rogan's typical audience. So I'm not sure if this is going to be on like Joe Rogan's podcast or some other kind of podcast or whatever. That would be the only thing I would worry about, is a lot of blowback from his regular audience, not knowing who the hell John Carmack is and not caring. But I think that would be a super interesting podcast because John is a straight shooter for the most part, and Joe asks a lot of interesting questions. So that would be kind of cool. Samsung preparing to launch an improved version of the Odyssey. We heard about this a long time ago, and we were thinking it was the Berlin show that was in late August, right? Was it I forget what, IFA or whatever. It was the Berlin show. We thought that we were going to see this improved Odyssey, the Odyssey Plus or whatever, right? Didn't everybody think that was going to happen then? And then we didn't hear about anything. It kind of like disappeared into the mist. Yeah, it was going to have this new anti-screen door effect technology, this like film that would be over it, removable cloth facial interface, built-in Bluetooth receiver for the controllers, AR pass-through by pressing the Windows plus grab buttons simultaneously, larger nose bridge for more comfortable wear. So that's interesting. Yeah. There's a Samsung Hong Kong listing for the Odyssey Plus. Yeah, it was the Odyssey Plus. I think it was Sebastian that was talking about that. There's going to be this Odyssey Plus soon. And then we just kind of like nobody heard anything about it, kind of disappeared into the mist. And just scrolling through here, Wardust is freaking amazing. So some people are really liking Wardust. Hopefully I'll be able to get into that a little bit later today and have my thoughts on Wardust for tomorrow's episode as well. And that's pretty much what's going on over here on the Oculus subreddit. Let me check PSVR. We haven't really been checking PSVR too much. PSVR, let's see. Oh, Everybody's Golf. Did you hear about this? Everybody's Golf. They're saying Everybody's Golf gets a spring VR release date. Let me go ahead and throw on the Everybody's Golf trailer. I know I saw it somewhere in here. Everybody's Golf, yeah. So this is not like the official trailer of Everybody's Golf. This is the one where they just grabbed it off. I think it was at the Tokyo Game Show where we got a little bit of footage of Everybody's Golf, otherwise known as Hot Shots Golf. And I'm guessing when this comes to the USA, it's going to be called Hot Shots Golf VR for PlayStation VR, I'd guess. I mean, they could call it Everybody's Golf, but it's always been Hot Shots Golf here in the USA. But this is going to be coming in spring 2019, but we don't have an exact release date. It's just spring 2019. So that's all we got on that. So we don't actually have a month or anything like that. And I'm looking at some of the other PSVR subreddit posts just to see if there's anything interesting over here. Not really seeing anything over there. So that's pretty much the end of that. Okay, so let me go ahead and check back on chat. Steve XM says, Anthony, I still want to hear your thoughts on Wardust. Well, I didn't get in it. I opened it up. It showed up on my monitor, but it never popped into my headset. So I will be trying Wardust later today. I will definitely give it a lot of attempts later today to get on there. Show Game says, can't wait for the Joe Rogan podcast on VR games. Yeah, Joe Rogan, he's mentioned the HTC Vive a number of times. He says like they have an HTC Vive, and he talks about getting into the HTC Vive, and he thinks it's like pretty amazing, you know, this VR stuff. And Charles Van Nolan says, but Joe's not a tech guy. Yeah, no, he isn't really a tech guy. So I'm not sure how interesting the talk will. But Main Fan is checking in. So Main Fan is here today, and he's saying Joe will talk about his Quake addiction. Yeah, maybe he could talk about playing Quake on a football field with a Vive Focus. And Charles Van Nolan says he'll just make a dumbfounded face and look at his guys behind the cameras. Yeah, the real question is, will John Carmack hit the blunt? I don't think he will. But yeah, that'll be kind of interesting if that does happen. Phil Yarn says, I still love Tea Time Golf. And man, there's one that I haven't gotten into since that first day that I tried it a couple of times. It's not bad. Tea Time Golf is not bad. Because you're not going to get Hot Shots Golf on Steam or on Oculus. So if you are looking for something similar, you can get Tea Time Golf, and I think it's only $10, right? Or is it $8 or $9? It's not too bad. It's by Barker's Crest Studio, and I had fun when I was in it. My biggest problem with Tea Time Golf is I just let's see, Tea Time Golf. It's showing me golf courses in Sacramento. Okay, Tea Time Golf Steam. Yeah, so it's $10. It's got good ratings on Steam for Tea Time Golf. It's rated pretty well. Positive 26 reviews, Barker's Crest Studio. VR isn't required either, so you can play this in VR or outside of VR. My biggest problem with Tea Time Golf, and this goes for any golf game, and it's going to be the same when it comes to Hot Shots Golf VR, is if you've ever played golf in real life, when you hold a golf club, your hands are like this. You have your thumbs lined up in a certain way when you're holding the club. You know, you're like this. You're holding the club and you go like that. Now, here's my problem with golf. How do I hold my controllers free floating? They're not connected to anything. And how do I do a golf swing? I can't do that. So what I've done when I play like Tea Time Golf or any of the golf games I've ever played in VR, I basically just take one hand and try to go like this. And that is not right. So they need to come out with some kind of adapter. Hopefully, like, I don't know what they're going to do. Is like PSVR, are they going to come out with some kind of little plastic thing that you could snap your, like, I don't know I don't know how it's going to work, man, because I have a disconnect. I have a problem with playing golf when my hands are just free floating like that. I can't use one controller. It doesn't work for me, Phil Yarn. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work for me. And Jim Hall says Joe Rogan always has super intelligent guests, and he does just fine. And Show Game says Elon did hit the blunt, even if he didn't inhale. It's so funny about that Elon Musk thing is back when that happened with Elon Musk. It's so funny how all the different pictures they got of him making a really weird looking face and the smoke, smoke blowing all around with him making a really weird face. And it really made him look like a jackass. It's just so funny to me how they can get one little snapshot of you and make you look like a complete weirdo because they freeze frame it at a certain point where you look like a goofball. And that's exactly what happened to Elon Musk. And it's that same picture everywhere. In fact, I could just Google search Elon Musk blunt, and that picture will probably be one of the first things to pop up. Elon Musk blunt. Let me see. Yeah, let's see. Images. Yeah, here it is. I told you. I knew it. Okay, so here's a search. Elon Musk blunt. This is the picture right here. This one and this one. It's just the way he has his eyebrows. It's almost like he's like, I don't know that this blunt is too good. I'm not very impressed with this blunt, Joe. I'm not doing a very good, I'm not really happy with this blunt. Like, look at this picture down here. Just the way they got his face. But I think that's the classic one. That's the one right there that looks really funny to me. But that's what happens, man. If you go on any kind of a show where they can freeze frame you, and here it is. I knew it. Fluke is thinking the exact thing I thought. New challenge. Go through Anthony's shows and find the goofiest frame you can. And you will not have a very hard time doing that. You will not have a hard time at all doing that. And I'll tell you why you won't have a hard time. Because back in the early days when I did my show, you know how YouTube will automatically come up with like a little thumbnail image that you can use and it'll randomly determine what it's going to do? It would come up with some horrible images of me with like my eyes closed or one eye closed, one eye open, or just like some really goofy looks for me. And it would put that into my thumbnails. And Paradise Decay says, didn't he make a goofy thumbnail just a few days ago? Okay, yeah, let's not go into that. Yeah, I'm trying to do some goofy thumbnails here and there because that's the way YouTubers do it, man, right? You got to have the goofy look. But that is Elon Musk. Okay, but yeah, going back to the subreddit, Bed for You Too and GameCat says, I love Hot Shots. Can't wait till the VR version. And Main Fan said, Joe said he had to quit playing Quake in the 90s because it took over his life. Oh, so Joe Rogan is a straight up gamer, at least back in the 90s. Bed for You Too and GameCats. My question, though, is when you start playing Hot Shots in VR, and I'm assuming you're going to have two Move controllers in your hand, right? Isn't it going to feel weird to try to hold your two Move controllers in the right way to do a golf swing? They really need to have some kind of shaft, some kind of pole thing that you can snap your controllers onto, and then you could get that real golf grip. And if it also had some weight to it, a little bit of weight on the end of it, so you feel like you're really, actually, no, I do it like this. So you feel like you're really getting your swing and you chip it in. I can't do it with one hand. Can't do it. Elon making a Trump face. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was over there. And Steve XM says, just use a pop stick controller to play golf. Yeah, or like a 3D, 3D modeled, 3D fabricated thing, some kind of PVC pipe thing that we can snap it onto. Somebody will come up with some good idea for that when we have a golf game that gets really wide acceptance. Like the Golf Club VR, like what do those people use? Because isn't there like a very serious golf game for Steam? Let me see. The Golf Club, isn't it called the Golf Club VR? Let me see. The Golf Club VR on Steam. Yeah, it's $20. Like this is a relatively serious golf game, right? Let me go over here. This is the Golf Club VR. Very positive. 269 reviews. This released back in 2017. And what are people using for this? Full immersion. But the club. How do you do? I guess what people are using though. See, this is for the Vive and Rift and stuff. So people must be using, like, these guys are using like full size freaking golf clubs while holding their controller at the same time. That seems dangerous. You want to talk about breaking monitors and TVs and smacking shit. Like a real size golf club and holding that and holding your controllers at the same time. That seems kind of crazy to me. But yeah, somebody must have figured out some kind of special PVC pipe golf stick, lots of broken TVs, but you got to do it. You got to do it because otherwise I won't enjoy it. Nothing like swinging a weighted object while blindfolded. Yeah, that's Conrad Lawrence checking in. Absolutely. All right, folks. Well, you know what? It has been about an hour so far. So that's how I make a shit show out of literally nothing, out of no topics, no plan. We can still make a show. We can still make it happen. And that's the beautiful thing about it. So anyway, the good news, folks, and this is like some seriously good news. I believe I am seeing the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to all my PC problems. And I don't believe it is a train. I don't believe it is a train. So I think I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully things have worked out now and I'll be able to get into a lot of VR games. I need to do some more testing. I might need to even make some minor changes to my BIOS as well. The video that I followed was from like 2012. That was for upgrading the i5 2500K. And so it's kind of an old video. So I might need to make some minor improvements. Lone Tech says, so what's the guest selection criteria? You mean for somebody to come on to this show? Basically, I'm open to have virtually anybody come on to this show. Now, the thing is, I'm willing to have somebody to come on to this show, but if you can't, like, if it gets really boring really fast, I might just have to eject you. And it's nothing personal. It's just, I gotta be concerned about the audience in general. So, but I'm willing to have somebody come on the show, and who knows, maybe you just don't know who out there could be a star in the mist, a diamond in the rough that could be a great YouTube personality or a great person to have on as a guest. MameFan has a really good voice. Like, MameFan's voice is awesome for doing like podcasts and YouTube videos and stuff. He's done a couple of YouTube videos where you hear his voice. I think he's got a good voice for it. So we're probably going to have MameFan on some point next week when he has an open time and we can get it situated. But what you could do is if you want to be a guest on this show, you can go ahead and email me at info@vrgamerankings.com, and we could try doing a little practice Skype call, and do a little test show. We could also do, like, it doesn't have to be on our regular everyday show at the normal time. We can do another episode that's like later in the day for like 20 minutes, almost just an experimental episode. Some people will tune in, some people won't. And but it's nice to have guests. I definitely want to incorporate guests, have more guests. I need to figure out that more and do that. Jim Hall says, now Anthony scared everyone away. You need a radio voice. No, you don't need a radio voice. It's nice if you have a radio voice, but you don't need a radio voice. In fact, honestly, I think Noah did a pretty good job. Now, Noah's problem, the Magic Leap Noah, that came on our show a couple of times, his problem is I don't think his microphone was very good. And if you're in a room that has a tremendous amount of echo, and if your mic isn't very good, and then if your volume is kind of low, sometimes it can be hard to hear you, and that can be a factor. But I'm willing to kind of put anybody on. But maybe what I should do really in terms of putting just anybody on is do more of a little practice episode, like a little 10, 15-minute quick hitter rando episode, where if it turns out to be a complete and utter disaster, then it's not a big deal. It's just a rando episode. I could delete it later, no harm, no foul. So I'm willing to do that. Like Apache Entertainment is saying at VR Game Rankings, have hands-on experience with the Quest. Would love to come on. I have no problem with that, Apache Entertainment. I would love to pick your brain about actually being at Oculus Connect 5 and trying the Quest and all of that. We could definitely do that. So if you want to Skype in at some point, go ahead, man. Shoot me an email, info@vrgamerankings.com. We can try a little test episode sometime and see how it works. And Conrad Lawrence says, I've done some podcasting, but I'll admit I'm not great at it. Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to take all of you guys a long time to be a true professional like me. Please. No, yeah, it's really what it is it comes down to a situation of just not being scared about it and just having confidence about it. And then usually things work out well. When you're really hyper nervous and stuff, I don't know what to say, I'm scared. That's where you get into problems. And so really it's kind of like just getting over that initial hurdle of like, holy shit, I'm on the internet. People can see this. People can actually see my face. Oh my God, I'm scared. This is going to be terrible. But a lot of people will give you the benefit of the doubt. It's not that big of a deal. So I got to get out of here, folks. Let me see. Did I ever find my outro? I think I actually did find my outro. Yeah, here's my outro. I got it. Alrighty, so that's going to go ahead and do it for today's episode. Of course, this has been VR Game Rankings. You can, of course, check out our website when you get an opportunity. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and of course, be sure to mail me some Mega Million tickets. I want to win $2 billion. $2 billion this next Tuesday. I want $2 billion, so go ahead, mail me some quick picks for Mega Millions, at least 5, maybe 10 quick picks. And if I can get thousands and thousands and thousands of quick picks, maybe I hit the Mega Millions. And then just imagine my studio after that. Green screens, lighting, professional cameras, in-studio guests. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Every headset under the sun. I'll be able to try them all out. It's going to be sweet. All right, folks, I will see you guys on Monday at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. See you guys then. Take it easy. Later.